PC gaming today is plagued with a real nuisance. Your games are all over the place. Steam, Battle.net, Origin, and way more. Moving between these clients to check your libraries and talk to your friends, it is an inconvenience. Well, GOG want to make life easier for you. How? Well, they have a new cross-platform client called Galaxy 2.0, and today we're going to take a look. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I've spent some time with the closed beta client for GOG Galaxy, and it's about time to share my thoughts. Now, GOG, in keeping with their consumer-focused image, are trying to create a solution to the PC gaming launcher issue called Galaxy. Now, its tagline is all your games and friends in one place, which is generally, I would say, attractive and rather ambitious. They've had this client in development for quite some time now, and it's currently in a closed beta, and we did get press access. Now, while they're not the only solution that is being developed to solve this issue, personally, I've thought that because of the backing it has, it's one of the most promising solutions. For now though, let's just talk about GOG Galaxy 2 in its current state. First off, the really important part, the functionality. So even in its closed beta form, I think it's very well realized in terms of platform integrations. So currently for PC stores, in addition to, the GOG games, anything you buy on their store, it has Steam, Epic, Uplay, and Origin. And then for consoles, it's got PlayStation and Xbox being available. And while it is notably missing some integrations, I imagine those are either in development, either by GOG themselves or by the community. Now, as for setting up these integrations, it's really quite seamless. You click on Connect for your integration, you throw in your login details, and then Galaxy will parse all of the games from your linked accounts and display them in its client in a sortable, searchable list. Having every game that you own at a glance across all of those platforms, which can even include physical games you've launched on PlayStation, is quite eye-opening and useful. It's great for launching your games and that sort of thing, but it's also nice seeing your entire library again, including maybe those console ones or, say, emulators. Now, you cannot currently add games manually, which is a bit of a problem, but it is a planned feature. You can edit games though, so if any of the metadata that it pulls in is wrong, you can rectify that. Now, when it comes to handling these games, there is a little bit of a snag. GOG, of course, needs the other launchers to be installed and logged in order to, well, install, launch, or uninstall games. Now, this is completely unavoidable right now, given the DRM, digital rights management requirements of those services. Now, this definitely is a nuisance, but I haven't really found it to make a massive difference, so I'll give you the flow of using it. When launching a game, provided you already have its requisite launcher, say Steam, logged in, it's mostly seamless. So with a Steam game, for an example, you just get the Steam pop-up that lasts for a second or two and the game is booted, then it disappears and you're in your game. Feels really good. For Origin though, it's a bit more annoying because Origin appears and it remains open as a window even once you're done playing. You've got to manually minimize it, which kind of sucks. Now when it comes to installing or uninstalling though, of course with Galaxy it does add an extra click or two for each game, and that's because the individual launcher has to handle the download and uninstall. Now that gets even worse when a game needs to update. Again, it's down to that game's individual launcher. Now, if you keep the other launchers running in the background, you'll have a smooth experience, but if you don't, you might get some unexpected wait times because, if you have to launch a game from GOG, but then Steam itself has to open and log in, that won't really be ideal. Now, this is another issue that I think is, well, I'm not sure if it's addressable in the medium term, and it is an inherent issue that anything like Galaxy 2 will have to deal with. Overall, I would say this, it's not perfect, it may never be, but I found it way more than usable when switching between playing games on Origin and Steam. Needless to say, Galaxy cannot do anything in the way of handling console games, at least not yet. Now, all of what I've just said is what is currently being implemented. One major part of their bring everyone to our platform approach, though, does involve making it a single stop for your friends. Now, while their friends list has seen the least complete work here, if they can access your friend information from your other accounts, like they can for games, then I can see this being a winner, but I don't expect it to be ready anytime soon, given the intricacies involved. But if they do get that cross-platform chat going, well, yeah, bringing everyone to one place is a strong draw. Sadly, though, there are no good integrations for me to test with this right now. However, I do have pretty high hopes, and I think this is the real make it or break it thing. the user experience. And I think this is so important. It's what maybe, say, Play Night or one or two of the other ones have struggled with a bit. The process of using GOG Galaxy 2 feels good. Despite being a closed beta, there are many features that are missing from other launchers, and their UX, user experience design, is largely on point. To start with, the games list is great. The library populates all of the game's metadata as best it can, so in the grid view, you get your box art or the equivalent for each game. There are only a few in my list that didn't have art by default, and they're mostly tiny Steam indies, so you can fix that yourself. Personally though, I much prefer the list view, in which you can see the game's title, achievement progress, time played, ratings, tags, and its platform at a glance. Now, while not all games will have achievement progress or time because of the platform restraints, it does make for a very good browsing experience. And the rating and the tags that I mentioned, they are personal, set by you, so you rate your games out of 5 stars, you tag them as they wish, so it's really good for managing just your entire catalog of games. And that's all saved to your GOG account, so it will work across all machines and Galaxy installs. Now, you can sort by these, you can do a combination of sorts, filters, and searches, and then you can bookmark the result, like a sort of a saved search, which makes it accessible with a single click. It also doesn't hurt that it looks really good too. Background art from your games is heavily blurred with a Gaussian blur, sort of glass-like UI design that really just does make it look like one of the nicest launchers in the business. As a library management tool, I would say the GOG have outdone themselves here. Now, that's not to say that it's all perfect. It does currently lack simple things like multi-select and drag and drop functionality, but once those are in, it will utterly outclass Steam in the realm of library management. So that's a really big win. So, GOG Galaxy 2 is a pretty darn good experience so far. One of the important aspects that they focus on that is detached from their direct experience of the client is their approach to privacy. This is another issue that I think a lot of consumers are starting to consider more and more, especially after concerns over Epic's launcher, and even things like Android and iOS, where Apple are getting a lot of credit for their genuinely very good privacy things. And definitely it's nice to see multiple players in multiple markets care about privacy more. So GOG Galaxy's site states that the client does not spy on any of your PC's data, that they will never share data with third parties, and that all of your data can be removed from their servers with a single click. Now, while I don't believe that there have been massive issues with, say, Steam as of late, I think for a lot of people it seems like a different story. For Epic, a lot of their lazy coding sort of resulted in just very questionable things being done, and maybe Uplay and Origin as well, with concerns being voiced about these things in the past. Whether accurate or not, they are concerns, and I think they're decently valid concerns. Privacy is a good thing to be worried about. GOG alleviating these fears right out of the gate is a simple but welcome affirmation. Now, beyond its current version, they do have big ideas and big plans. This includes their integration strategy, and I think this is a real winner. They are open entirely to community integrations, and their API is documented so the developers can make use of it. Now, this combined with the long list of internal platform categories that they have in their own documentation means that essentially every gaming platform could ultimately be integrated with GOG Galaxy, perhaps even including things like emulators. Now, this could soon be a really good platform that could even be including support for classic games via emulation, which would be really good. But that said, they do have a disclaimer that you should only integrate applications or content that are your own creation, or content which you own the necessary rights to. So perhaps don't expect support for console emulators or anything like that. There may be a gray area there. So maybe library management, but ownership and maybe not, say, installing or running emulators. Kind of hard to know how that will go and what GOG's official stance will be. And really, I suppose them being a company with resources, yeah, it's got the downside. They do have concerns like that when it comes to things like emulation. But then the bright side is they have more developers and a lot more features. And I suppose, speaking of features, another element of their future strategy is largely with usability improvements. So over in the settings menu, you can see there are quite a few options that are yet to be implemented for launching other clients alongside Galaxy, but then quitting those clients whenever you close the game, which would be pretty nice. And I'd say, given what they already have in closed beta, I think they have a really good read on what their users want from the software. So you've got to wonder then, what is for GOG? Like, what's in it for them with this? Well, I think just like every other PC platform, they want people to buy from their store. This client does have a store button, which will take you to GOG's, in-client store. Now, unlike many others, the client does not try to draw attention to it massively either. It just sort of leaves it there as an option for you to use, which is perfectly fine. Now, of course, part of this is how they will want you to play GOG games on GOG Galaxy, given they will have the most support and the best integration with the launcher. launcher. Installing and launching them is as smooth as can be through Galaxy. They've got full support for the metadata, the achievement progress, and the playtime. And then beyond that, and I think this is a real big winner too, they're trying to be similar to Steamworks, promising matchmaking and online play for supported GOG Galaxy games, which is really great, also including things like cloud saves and version rollbacks. For developers, that's a really good thing indeed, especially if they can make the, say, migration of a Steamworks game to a GOG Galaxy game be pretty seamless. So overall, they've got this really, really good launcher, and then as a company, well, they're competitive in price, and they offer DRM-free games. I would say this, they have all of their massive selling points for the DRM-free crowd, the people who really care about that. But even for people who don't care about games being DRM-free, well, Galaxy's a really good bit of software, and GOG do actually have their advantages in how they run their business. I know I was pretty tempted to pick up a few GOG games while browsing the launcher, and I suppose that's really what that launcher is supposed to be doing for the company's bottom line. So really, I think it's just a matter of how they can get the audience in. And that's going to be a big ask. It's hard to get people to move over from other platforms and to try new things. Then in terms of other things, I suppose another feature they could have and that they want and that they're promising is a games discovery feature. But that said, the Steam store is very hard to beat on games discovery with the Steam Labs recommendation engine. If they can top that, I'd be pretty darn impressed. So overall, of the official launchers, I think GOG Galaxy is unique in that it's a platform combining launcher. That's a massive selling point for it. And because of that, it could be a very valuable tool for PC gamers in the future, even if they are not attached to GOG as a store. It's ambitious, it's surely expensive, and given GOG's financial history, I think it's pretty clear that CD Projekt Group are putting a lot of investment in this to get it off the ground as something that could really put a shot in the arm to their business. Now that said, there are some limiting things to their ambition. Additional cross-platform functionality, especially removing some of the current pain points via other stores, that will require cooperation from some of the other platforms. We've already seen some of that cooperation with Xbox Game Pass and Microsoft, which has been great to see, but for other stores, it may not be in their best interests. Over on Origin, well, Origin Access isn't going to populate your Galaxy list with every game that you've got access to via Origin Access, so you would still need to browse over there. Uplay is likely going to be the same whenever Uplay Plus comes around, but all in all, I think Galaxy 2 is a promising bit of software. If you have games on multiple platforms, or you want to manage your library a bit better than Steam, I would recommend giving it a try if you can get access. I think that GOG come from a strong position given their user and community-focused approach. It's far from perfect, it's missing some integrations right now, it's missing some quality of life elements, it also lacks the high quality features that say, things like Steam's controller support, that's really quite strong. Another interesting flaw is that it might integrate too well for most to start actually purchasing games on GOG, and that could be an issue for GOG. But all the same, I look forward to seeing what GOG can do with it. I think they have found a niche and they're attempting to serve it well, and I think it's a pretty darn noble goal. So, have you tried Galaxy 2? Are you in the beta? Are you excited about this prospect? Or are you just happy enough swapping between your launchers? Let me know what you think down below. I would love to hear. Be sure to subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see more content like this, and also let me know what you'd like to see in the future. And with that, I will see you next time.